Welcome NFL fans, welcome Eagles fans to week 16 here in Philadelphia. Here to end our season at home against the Chicago Bears on Sunday Night Football. Of course, our season ending in Dallas, so I'm talking about home games. But first, to start out, I had a pretty emotional Sunday, to say the least. And I wish I was doing this video as a happy Eagles fan from all sides, because the Eagles went out to Minnesota, and what we talked about last week in the video is hope and belief and being a hot team and all that other stuff. But let's talk about what actually did happen. Seemed like the Eagles' head was not in the game. There's a lot of things that made you scratch your head as an Eagles fan. The big one, of course, you have a league-leading rusher in LeSean McCoy. We decide to run him 8 times for 38 yards. Nick Foles actually outrushed McCoy, which is just odd to me. A week after he set the Eagles' rushing record. But I can kind of understand the game plan from that aspect, because Minnesota is a better rush defense and they do have a pass. So the Eagles decided to pass the ball a lot. Deshaun Jackson having almost 200 yards receiving. But then Nick Foles makes you scratch your head a little bit because he missed a lot of passes. Now he ended with about 428 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. And the Eagles offense did score 30 points. So, yeah, Nick Foles, you missed a lot, which is not good. At the same time, 30 points should bring you home a victory. Still staying on the offensive side, we see a glaring need, as I said before, especially on that 4th and 1 when we're on like our own 20. We need a power back. We need a power back. 4th and 1, where we have to go for it. I like the call. 4th and 1. We have to get it. We have to get it in order to give ourselves the opportunity to win, which we saw on the other side. Let's start talking about a little bit of our defense. We saw Minnesota actually gash our pass defense. Our pass defense is horrible. They looked horrible against Minnesota, which, like I said before, we definitely have to draft secondary. I'm talking about safeties and corners. We need to draft them, but we can't do anything about that now. And we just got done talking about power backs. Well, yeah, we held their 3rd or 4th string running back to 51 yards, but the guy had 3 touchdowns, which means when they were going to give him the ball, and we knew they were going to give him the ball, we could not stop them. I like our front 3 or 4, and I like our line. I like our linebackers. Do we need to draft some other ones? Yes, we do. Are we young there? Yes, and that's a good thing. Do we have potential? Yes, but we are a ways away from where we need to be. We're a lot closer with our D-line and our linebackers than we are with our secondary. 30 points should win you the game. Should not give up 48 points to the Minnesota Vikings. And the Minnesota Vikings, I think, Eagles for NRA said it perfectly. They had nothing to play for except for pride. And you know what? They did it. They beat our pants. There's nothing we can say about it. Yeah, there was a bad call in the corner with the refs, with the pass interference, but you know what? You can't blame the refs for everything. When you give up 48 points, you can't blame the refs on that. The team has to show up. So this week, what do we have to do? Getting a little nervous, knowing that potentially this game, per the numbers, can mean nothing for the Eagles. If the Dallas Cowboys go and beat Washington, per the numbers, it means nothing for us if we win or lose against Chicago, except for potential seeding, because then it will come to the last game of the season where we have to beat Dallas, and the winner of that game goes on and wins the division. But forget the numbers. Forget the numbers. We have to play for pride here. Last week I talked a little bit about the fans, but you know what? The fans are actually there. Here in Philadelphia, we're very realistic about where our team is and what our team is. What our team is. Where we are and what we are. This one's more going out to the Eagles, man. We as fans, we're behind you. But you can't throw up games like you did last week. You can't. That's what kills us here in Philadelphia. But just as we start coming around and believing and hope and all of this stuff that I talked about last week, you kick us in the junk and throw out a game like that. And it's easy to get distracted. Right after the game, I'm getting texted by Dallas Cowboy fans talking about, oh, I guess you're not in first place in NFC East anymore, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you still got to play too. And I watched the game, it was 26-3, and I'm sitting there as an Eagles fan going, this sucks, because now we're going to be tied for the division lead. We lose all the tiebreakers to them. Now we have to win out the last two. And as Dallas collapsed, us as Eagles fans at least felt a little better knowing that we had a little margin for error. I don't like that margin for error, because that leaves room for complacency and letdowns and not playing for everything that you got. Eagles this week, regardless if we have anything to play for or not, seeding, the numbers. This week, man, we got to play for pride. If nothing else, you got to play for pride. To not look like crap on national TV when everybody's watching. For not looking for crap, for a bigger thing. For your fans here that believe in you every single week, that fill your stadium, that spend our hard-earned money to watch you. We don't want to just watch football. We want to watch wins. We want to watch something great. Is our defense there yet? No, they're not. You know what? You got to do a whole lot better than you did last week. Turn your head around and look for the football. Show a little fight in you. Don't let old receivers like Greg Jennings and quarterbacks like Matt Castle make you look like crap. I'm not looking forward to a game in Dallas that might mean whatever. Who gives a rat's crack about that? Our season isn't all about us versus Dallas. Our season is about us. It's about Philadelphia. It's about giving everything we got every single down, every single game, and not just talking about it, oh, it's every single week, but obviously our minds were not in the game last week. We can't afford for our minds to not be in the game this week. That being said, who cares about if Briggs is going to play or not? Bears last place rushing defense. I don't care about any of those numbers. All I care about is what we prove on the field. We got to prove that we're worth winning the NFC East. We got to prove that we're worth taking our time out of our day to watch and believing. So for our season, as I do, because I believe, and a lot of other Eagles fans out there believe too, show us what you got, Eagles, here in Philadelphia. Beat the Bears. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Do it.